Oh hey, I didn't see you there. I made new stuff. Whoa, no way. So I mentioned this tower like a couple times in my first or second video or so. This tower was originally like pretty much the same way I built towers in like 2012, and it's still like pretty straight and bland, but I think it's improved now. I completely rebuilt the top. I can have a closer look at that in a sec. And I did some more texturing down here with a couple of rocks that I've placed down here to make the bottom here, the coast, look a little nicer, the shore or whatever you want to call it. And don't drown. And you know, with some texturing blocks with the rocks here to make it look a bit more natural. So the whole body of the tower is still like really bland and boring, but I didn't feel like remaking the whole tower, so I think it looks fine now. It's definitely an improvement to how it was before. And with the top, I just kind of went in here without really much of a plan. I think when I built this, I just watched a Fwip video or something, because this is like very, I feel like, Fwip inspired with these sunroofs and stuff. But yeah, I feel like this top of the tower is like probably like the most detailed thing I have anywhere in here. I really like how it came out. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. In my main base here, in my storage room, I was actually getting a little tired of always going over here to go to my main house to sleep or something. So I just built myself a little room over here. You know, nothing special, but small little addition. So I don't, if I'm working on stuff over here, it's a bit annoying to always go over there to sleep. And I also don't want to always just carry around my bed and break it all the time. So it's good to have a bed here a bit closer to where I actually work and do stuff. So coming out of here, I have this gravel path here, which leads over here past my slime farm, which is this giant hole here with a slime at the bottom. And I've had this path leading up here, and previously it just ended here at the elevators, but I've expanded it. It goes down here now, down the mountain. Probably need to do a little bit more terraforming to make it blend in a little better, but I did, continue this path here along the cliffside around this large body of water. Always with some pillars to make sure it like doesn't fall off and stuff. And yeah, you get the idea. The path goes along here. And this is a little bit, yeah, another tower. So the path continues here over the bit deserty area, and then comes down here to like a little dock, so you can take the boat and take it over there to the lighthouse. And go up here, and there's a lighthouse here. I always, when I played Minecraft very back in the day, like a lighthouse was always something I had put in my world at some point, but they were very much like the tower at my main area, just like straight up without any shape or anything. I tried to give it a bit more of a shape here. I'm not sure I love the top, but I think it's definitely a more interesting tower than just, you know, placing just like a straight pole into the landscape. And I've also, you can see, I've done rocks around here. I've been really getting into making rocks. I do like me a good rock. I always really like just like blending in like slabs into the landscape. I think that really does a lot with making it look more detailed. So that's not really a whole lot in here. I have this lava pillar in here to light the whole thing up. Can go up here. But yeah, most stuff I build is just kind of like a facade to decorate the landscape more or less, so don't expect too much in here. I have the, I don't know, this could be like the giant light bulb that they have in lighthouses. At least that's how it was in The Simpsons. I don't know how it's in real life. I've never been on top of the lighthouse, so no clue. And you can look out here. And that's the lighthouse. So I connected this not only with the path that I just showed, but also, gonna take a moment until I can finish the sentence, because it takes a while to walk down here. There is a rail. Yeah. So I really like making subways. Makes me feel cool and important. And this one goes through the ocean. And yeah, I just like my subway tunnels. That's what I'm all about, having good public train infrastructure. That's the stuff. Some more water, beautiful fish. Look at those squids, beautiful. I love nature. Nature is amazing. And we come out back in my base here. Don't look at all of this. This is very ugly, but we are back in my storage room. And yeah, this of course connects up to the rest of my rail track. Here's my tower, and the train track continues over here. And here I've had this wheat field, this giant one with the barn, and I've expanded the wheat field and added in a nice windmill over there, which I think fits very nice into the landscape. I'm gonna have a quick nap here in the middle of the field, as you do. Dang it. So yeah, got a windmill here. I've made a windmill once before, but it was very blocky. I tried to make it more round. I'm not sure if this is how windmills actually look in real life. It's at least, I think it looks more interesting than just making like a square building or so. So I'm quite happy with this. I'm not sure if it actually matches how a windmill is supposed to look up close, but I think definitely as part of the landscape it looks very nice here. So over there in this direction of my village, I've not really done a whole lot more. I've done a little bit over here to densen the city a little bit. I've been wanting to have like a narrow inner city street and stuff here. I've added a little bit here. So this building, for example, is new. I've done a couple details here and there, but for the most part, this is the same as it was in the last video, so not really anything worth showing over here. I've done like some pathing here, just a path continuing over here to my other area. I've done a lot of pathing to just connect stuff around. For example, there's also this path that leads through the forest here past this building and this one over here with my sheep farm in it. And I've connected this up with the other path that leads to the lighthouse. So just like a lot of pathing and connecting stuff and all that. So I'm gonna fly alongside this cliff here with this beautiful path to where past the gas station, the abandoned one, to where my city is that I started building here with my map art area over there. And I started building a little bit of a city over here. So this building and this building, this is old, this has been here last time. So this is the train station that I've modeled after Station Square in Sonic Adventure DX. And this is my museum with absolutely butt-ugly, barely existent interior. Don't look inside there. I promise at some point I will fill it with something. But today is not that day. Like this stuff and this stuff all here that you see is old, but I've done a lot more to detail it in between. Adding like the fences around here, doing the street lamps, and just a lot of foliage around here to make it look a lot more detailed and kind of lush and lively. So over here, this is something I've kind of hinted at in the last video, I think. So I had these two buildings already built, and I had already planned that I was intending to put a bookstore and a record shop over here, and that's what I did. That's what this is. I just want to say I just love how these buildings came out. I think they look amazing. This is probably my favorite just like regular normal real life looking house that I've ever built. Absolutely love these. So yeah, here is the bookshop. I'm not great with interiors, but I've done my best here. So this is my bookshop. Could go up. It's a bit cramped up here. Here's a bit of a balcony to look down on the street. And you can also go sit down here and go also up a level to the higher bookshelf. So yeah, this is my bookshop. Pretty much the same thing with the record shop. over here. I already said last time that I made map art of album covers that I like. I didn't make any new map art, but with this record shop here now, I do have a place to put them and display them, so that's nice. So I got my 4 map arts that I already had last time in here. And yeah, this is my record shop. These composters that I've used here, they're kind of supposed to be these big boxes they had at record shops where you can just flick through the records. That's what this is. I'm not sure if that's obvious when you look at it, but that was my idea. Same here. You can also go up. You can also listen to the records here. And yeah, this is the second story with more of these boxes. And yeah, not this one, but some barrels with records that I had filled in. So yeah, that's my record shop. Here is a grocery store, which when I've started building this, at first it was super hideous, but then I added these end rods here, and then suddenly it looked amazing. I don't know how this happened, but I super love this grocery store now. It's, of course, once again empty, but it's the building that counts. That's what I'm about. I care about decorating the environment, so I don't like doing interiors. I can't be bothered, but I love this building. And those are supposed to be like bike racks or something. So there's a bit of a bike parking lot here, I guess. Or maybe also the place where you put the shopping cart. You can also think of it as that. But I initially thought of it as bike racks, but I guess next to a grocery store, the shopping cart places makes more sense. And then this is the most recent thing I made over here. Once again, here's the bike things. I made a music venue, so this is the entrance here, and in here is you can have concerts. It's supposed to be kind of like a nice mid-sized venue for like a couple hundred people is what I was thinking of. I partly modeled this after, you know, like the structure with coming in and then having this place over here. I sort of modeled this after a local venue that I go to quite often. So yeah, I really like the interior here. Of course, there's not a whole lot going on here, but I do like the stage and the whole lighting and stuff, everything going on here. I think that came out quite nice. These are, of course, speakers, a truss here with some lights on it. Some LEDs at the bottom. Yeah, don't look at this building from the outside. It looks hideous, but I do like how the inside came out. And of course, here's a backstage area. This is supposed to be where you can like store equipment and stuff. And then over here you have still empty, but here you can have like the backstage room for musicians to hang out or whatever. They have to bring their own furniture though. I don't have furniture, I'm sorry. So over here is the loading dock. This is supposed to be kind of like a shutter or a garage door or something that you can pull up and then load in through here. And you can probably have like a truck coming up here and then you can load in from here for the equipment, for the music. Yeah, that's it. That's this part. So over here, of course, I've expanded this road over here, leads over there. I've built some palm trees. The first time I've built custom trees. Could be worse, I guess. You can tell what it's supposed to be, I think. I think that's what counts. I do think they fit in pretty well with the road here, so that does the job. And the other road, of course, leads over here to the factory that I had already here, but it was not connected to anything, so have it connected now. And here we come, if we go through here, to the train station and take the train line here over the bridge. So finally this bridge is actually leading to something and kind of doesn't just look like it just goes into nowhere. So if you get off here... No. Oh, there goes my minecart. So if you can build off here, get over here, and there's some grandstands over here, and I built a racetrack. So yeah, I have a boat racetrack here now. I know usually people make these with ice blocks, but I don't have any cold biome like anywhere close to me, like thousands of blocks away, and I feel like honestly, at this point, I feel like it fits better into the natural environment over here to not build with ice. So plus I was too lazy to get it. So I just built one with water, which is a bit slower than racing boats on ice. But you know, I think the track is pretty tight, so I think it might fit it better even. I'm not sure. It's not like I have real races here anyways. This is just something for me to look at and feel good about what I've accomplished. So it's not like it really has to serve a purpose, but you can race around it if you want. Of course, you can look at it from above. So this is what it looks like. It loops around here a little bit, has some chicanes over here. So this tower here, I've had this bridge and this tower last time, but it kind of just served the purpose to have the train track just go down here and then underground and lead up to some other train tracks. So it just kind of looked like this giant bridge here was coming over here, then there was a small tower, and then would just end. So it looked like super weird and pointless. And I think building this racetrack here tied it in very nicely, and I'm very happy with how this whole thing looks. I've done, of course, there's pathways to connect the grandstands here, and I've done, of course, a lot of like some foliage and rock work over here to make it look a little nicer in the middle around the track. I hung up maps. Unfortunately, the racetrack doesn't line up very well with the maps. So that's a bit unfortunate. And also these green arrows, I'm not sure how to make these go away, but yeah, I've hung up like a maps over here, just like a blueprint of the track, I guess, for visitors to look at. And here's the final grandstand. So you get a very nice view from here. You can see over here, this whole section, and of course this S bend over here. So of course I can take you around a lap on the track. Here's a bit of a pit stop area under the grandstand over here. This is where I would also imagine the boat races would get on and off the racetrack. The actual race start line is here. Do I have a boat with me? Yeah. So let's take a lap on the boat. So this is the racetrack. First we go over here around the tower. Here we have a bit of a straight leading up into the water boat elevator. I had to do a lot of messing around with this to stop breaking my boats, because every setup I had would end up breaking the boat, which was very annoying. But I finally found one that worked. I don't know what's up with these. They used to be easier to make, but it works eventually. So yeah, I had to have some elevation changes here to be able to loop the track over each other. Oh god, my driving is very bad. Here we go down again. And here we have the higher and lower parts of the track connected with the waterfall. I thought that was a nice visual feature, but it can cause you to crash pretty easily, so I have to be careful. So if you go with your boat into the waterfall, of course the boat breaks, so definitely a danger area in the racetrack. So yeah, that was one lap here. Let's see if I can beat my time. And that was the last hard turn. We made a clean run. Let's go. Yeah! World record. We did it. Anyways, going back. So going into the Nether, my transport hub kind of thing, whatever. So this is the same building as it always was, but I've expanded next to the two main rail lines here that lead to the Ocean Monument and to the End Dimension portal. I've added another one here that is not labeled. I should probably add a label here. But this is a very long tunnel. Once again, of course, a minecart track. I love just building subways. And this is no different. But this tunnel is made of glass and it's very, very long. This took a lot of glass to build, and it's also I've never done this at this scale, I think, but I just realized how dang annoying it is to just place a lot of glass panes just next to each other. Just having to click glass panes from the side to make more glass panes is very annoying. And I've done that like a million times here, so this is a huge tunnel. I've built it like really big this time to make sure you can fly through it comfortably. It comes past, this was a coincidence, but it's really, I really like it. I just came past the bastion here, like very conveniently, like right at the entrance of the bastion, so I think that is a very cool connection. It just so happened for this to work out. So this is pretty nice. Then if you continue over here, you get to this room. And you might be able to guess where this leads to based on my design here. But yeah, this is just my spooky looking portal room here. And I've used this portal to connect up an ancient city. So this is my first ancient city in this world. This took me so long to find this thing. I must have gotten super unlucky with my ancient city generations. Like, obviously, like this world is quite a bit older than ancient cities. So I had to fly quite a bit out to find one. I did delete some unused chunks in the meantime to give myself some better chances. But I still had to fly a bit away from my usual stuff to be able to find one. And I don't know, I would always like run into deep darks a lot of times. Like whenever I would go caving just looking for stuff, I would run into a deep dark and get super annoyed by it, because it like if you just want to do normal caving and just resource collecting, running into a deep dark is like a pretty big roadblock, because it makes everything significantly slower and scarier than it has to be. But I never found an ancient city. I found like 10 deep darks without ancient city. I don't know if is that normal? Like when I watch other people play this and find ancient cities, I'm always under the impression that they're super easy to find, but this took me so long to find. Anyways, I'm done complaining now. I've not really done anything with this ancient city aside from making it safe. I do kind of want to do something with this at some point, but I don't really have an idea what yet. But yeah, I went painstakingly slowly through this whole thing, and I think removed every single shrieker and sensor and stuff to make sure that I think you're pretty safe in here. This is really big. Yeah, this shouldn't be anything that can harm you in here, unless you fly around in the elytra and just smack against the wall. But I think I secured this whole thing. Yeah, what was that? Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. But yeah, this took a long time to clear out this whole ancient city of Shrikas. But yeah, I do have this thing now at my disposal. I think it's cool to have access to, even though I don't really know what to do with it yet. But yeah, this is the ancient city that I found. Ow. I am out of rockets. If we go to the ocean monument, there's nothing new there, so I won't be going there. But if we follow the track to the end dimension, there's a little bit there that I've made. First of all, so when you go through here, there's this room that you've seen in the first video, because this is very old. I still think this room looks very cool. But it kind of bothered me that I had no idea where this place was on the overworld. Like, I would not be able to find this again if I was just around, like, outside. And I would have no idea where my end portal is from here. So, in addition to having this absurdly long subway tunnel that leads here, I built elevators down here, and they lead up to a building that I've made. This is very recent, so it's not really filled with anything or connected up with anything, but it's just like a nice big kind of train station building in here. So yeah, this is the entrance hall with some balconies up here. And this is what it looks like from the outside. Just a nice tall building in the middle of the desert. Let's have another angle on it. I try to make it look interesting with the roof shapes and stuff. I'm doing my best here. Yeah, I've never been really the best at just making big buildings like this, like buildings that actually look like real life houses. Like usually when I make a big building, it's like something abstract industrial looking, or when I make a house it's just kind of like really small. And I'm able to make these look decent, but I've never really been able to make a big house very well, and I think this is like my first decent attempt at that. I quite like it. So with building materials here, of course, I tried to combine, like, with it being in the desert, so I used a lot of sandstone with also like the end, because that's what it connects up to. So I used end stone and purple to build the exterior of it. And yeah, that's this thing. So you can also go up here. I need to add some stairs or some ladders or somewhere that you actually can get up here from the inside area. But yeah, this is the balcony from inside up here. And yeah, this is just you know, my end portal station. And now when you just fly through the desert here and you come past this, you know, oh, that's the end portal here. I know where I am. So that's cool. And now the final thing that I have to show off. So for once, my Enderman farm broke. Like, I don't know what to do. Because, like, my Ender might always despawn. I don't know what to do, what I'm doing wrong, but at some point it just disappeared. And so as you can probably guess from the crackling sound you just heard, at this point my mic just stopped working. So from this point on, I'll have to narrate the rest in post, but there's not much left anyway, so it's fine. So anyways, what I was talking about was that for some reason my Enderman farm stopped working. So I was wondering if there was like maybe an update Mojang did that Endermites no longer not despawn when you give them a name tag, which is quite weird. Like, it just suddenly stopped working. I tried rebuilding it several times, and it just keeps despawning, and it's quite irritating, and I don't know what to do about it. Anyways, that's it. So we're going back to the main end island. I think I talked about, like, in the first video, about wanting to kind of make the end island into like kind of like a desolate park landscape, something like that. I've not done that, but I've done something else. So you know how I always like to make everything walkable and connect everything with trains and stuff. So there's not a train here, but I've made stuff walkable. So something that bothers me a little bit is that when you want to go onto the outer end islands, you always have to go through the portals. And I like not having to do that. Like most of the time, obviously, I will fly everywhere, but I like having everything connected with a walkable path. Instead of relying on the end portals, which are in this purple tower here, which I've had for a while, I've built what is over here, which is this giant rope bridge that just leads off into the void, which I think is really cool. So we can walk down here. Obviously, I had to put buttons on it because anything you build in the void, any blocks you place, they're just gonna become an Enderman spawn platform. And I've had this whole thing full of Enderman. It was very annoying, so I put buttons down on all the full blocks to prevent them from spawning. I don't quite like how it looks, but it's better than having it full of Enderman. Anyways, this now leads up to this giant floating tower here. I try to make it look a bit ruined, kind of like broken at the bottom, with like this bit of rock here breaking off, kind of fizzling out at the bottom. Yeah, that's sad that this floating tower here, having kind of a middle point of this giant rope bridge, continues here, continuing on, eventually leading up to... There it is. There's another floating tower. Once again, try to make it look kind of ruined at the bottom here, a bit fizzling out, kind of parts sticking out at the bottom. I even placed some TNT there to make a couple of like more natural looking holes in there. I put in some tinted glass here to make it just look dark on the inside. It doesn't look good from up close, but I think when you far away it looks fine. And yeah, I overall I really love this. I don't think, like, I'm not gonna assume that no one's ever done this before, but I've personally never seen anyone build like a connection between the different parts of the end, and I really was happy with myself that I got that idea and that I managed to build it like quite well, if I'm being honest. I'm very happy with this. And there's like no real good reason. Like there's nothing here that I could connect up to, but I'm happy with what I did here. I think it's cool. It's quite unique, as far as I can tell, as far as I know. It looks actually better with yeah, a bit more render distance. But yeah, this is my giant rope bridge into the void. It looks a bit awkward here with a little corner there. If you look at a bit more from the side, it looks a bit more round. Like this, yeah. Then you can see the first tower there in the middle. But yeah, that's it. That is all I got.